Hello, students. Here I'm converting last week's lesson into a brief video for you. And remember, we're looking at laughter in Naipaul's short story, The Pyrotechnicist. We said it might be examined at several levels. First, literal laughter. And then we could do our critical analysis and arrive at interpretations. The word says interpretive. So literal meanings and then interpretive meanings. I've looked at the assignments you submitted and you've correctly identified the literal instances of laughter. But I've returned it to you so that you could now move to the higher level where we do the interpretive. And this slide helps you understand that Naipaul is in the background doing the work. He's an artist, he's a writer. And so laughter is linked to the things that happen in Miguel Street. And those events are captured or described as social realism, social realities. And here I have all examples. As we did last week, we're looking at what people say about Morgan, what Morgan says about himself, and how do we analyze Morgan laughing at himself? Now, you could slow down the slides when you're ready to look at them, but I'll just rush through because it was done in class. Consider why Morgan is trying to elicit laughter. He deliberately sets out to clown. He was unhappy if people were not laughing at him. The joke is not coming off. Maybe there is something about comic irony that you need to interpret. What do we mean by comic irony? Irony itself means you what you expect is not what you get. You kind of get the opposite. So look at the term irony and see how you could apply it to laughter. What does the term pyrotechnicist mean? And maybe you go to your dictionary and see. And here I've given you a diagram, and you're asked to consider different interpretations of laughter. Laughter, number one, I've numbered them. The literal meaning, and you identify them, and that's first base. And then we check to see how it might be related to this and these interpretive levels. Playing the fool, my mistake, the L is missing, or playing the ass. What does it say about the emasculated Caribbean man? Laughing at myself, the joke is on me. What is the desired response and why? Consider when a laugh is not really a laugh at all. Consider laughter and Caribbean heroism, laughter and escapism. Examine comic irony, laughter and the carnivalesque. And if the term carnivalesque is challenging, it's laughter as it takes place in the realm of the carnival. And largely, there is a psychology of laughter. You could check it and see what is the underlying psychology or interpretations of laughter. Digging for deeper meanings now, we come up with laughter as a way of responding to failure, and maybe that's what's happening with Morgan. Forgive my mistake here with this X. Anger and displacement, the fits of craziness, the picking of quarrels with his neighbors, the abuse of his children, the mock court, the misfired joke. Morgan gets drunk. Check them out and see what is the response to failure. How does laughter work there? How do we understand Morgan? How do we get to? We listen to his wife and his children, what they have to say, and their responses. They leave. And there is another instance of shaming, confrontation, and he's being laughed at. So again, check to see what laughter does. And finally, he's charged with arson, and he becomes pyromaniac according to the story. What's a maniac? What is maniac behavior? It ends on a note where they say he went mad. So you're encouraged to look at laughter as it relates to mental illness. And here I have an example of how you could write about laughter. In Naipaul's story, we read of Morgan clunging, and these experiences cause us to think deeply. Morgan would make jokes about his physique, flinging out his arms. And so for my focus, I'm saying laughter causes us to think deeply. And so my whole paragraph is going to show you how it's possible to think deeply about the laughter. He also made jokes about having a wife and 10 children. So here I give you all the evidence from the text. But notice that I stop. And now I give you the analysis. It's hard to imagine that Morgan can make himself and family the objects of laughter. And you go through it. This is my analysis. So I've moved from base one, level one, where I identify things, to now analyze those very things that I've identified. And I've provided you with a reference, how I use reference, the Miguel Street, the city publication, the publisher, and the year in which it was published. So these here will tell you what page the story is on, what page the evidence is on, but it matches with the year in which the book was published. So this week I want you to try writing. You're going to focus on your writing.